I look at the X zone of analysis in this zone here, it is very, very consistent if I conclude that this A is my best run because the output, if I compare C1, B1, and A, output from A is the best. So that's my benchmark. Assuming I'm getting that all the time, it becomes my benchmark. But there's a question. We realized that the inputs for B and C were different and lower than what we gave A. Maybe A had a higher flow rate, maybe it had a lower mud weight, maybe it had a higher HSI, and also differently. Maybe it had a different BHA, and ran more weight. You don't know that. But we are looking at the output, which is the vibrations, footage, or ROP. That's what you're looking at. So the question is this. Why weren't B and C given the same conditions as A? Why? And what would they have done if they had been exposed to the same conditions as A? And was that even possible? So I start with this. I need to know why first C and B didn't have the same conditions as A. And then in my mind, if that was possible, but maybe somebody gave the instruction, don't do that, or they tried to do that and couldn't because of vibrations or something else, then I have a reason. Okay, then I cannot make any case for C and B. But if I realize that in my analysis of the data behind the data, that the execution of C and B was all right, it was just that the flow rate was lower. And even sometimes, what you realize is that you are drilling, you get into a lost circulation zone, you catch your flow rate, you end up drilling slower. What you see in the report is a slower, because nobody goes back to read what made you catch the flow rate. And so the judgment is made that C and B were not good. Now, what if A, also when being run, there were no issues with lost circulation zones back and forth, or whatever happened? Could A have gotten the same results as C if it had been exposed to the same conditions of C? Or could C and B have done better if they had been exposed to the conditions of A? You have to answer those questions. That is the relational benchmarking I was talking about. So let's do this. If I then come back and I say, let me now step back. Instead of looking at X, where I compare what happened on the run, I'm going to say, what could have happened if I had exposed all of them to the same conditions? And what you see X, C is now here. Much better. You won't believe the number of times we miss this analysis and end up running A again when C is obviously better, because exposed to the conditions of A is a winner. But we pack it and go with A because in the data, in the Excel spreadsheet, A was better. So benchmarking, Usama, to your question, this is what benchmarking is about.